Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. We're very, very happy to have you here, of course. My name is Chester C. Busby III, and this is Comics News Today. And we got some very interesting stories. There's going to be one theme today, and it's going to be NBC, and that should be interesting. But other than that, I'm very happy to welcome all of you who've come in here. I see we've got Bullet in here, as well as March Hare, and Pixel, who was here, who decided to bail. Thanks, Pixel. Thank you very much. But nevertheless, do keep in mind, check out all our links as usual and hit that share button, please. But besides that, let's come over here and say hello to the panelists before we jump into our news. And of course, from the land down under, where the wallabies play, we have an oily Kiwi.
It's me. I made it. I just got out of bed. I just rolled out.
You rolled out.
But but I made it just for you guys.
Well, thank you. I do like the term rolled out.
You like that one? You like
Yeah,
you like the idea of me just kind of rolling out of the bed and just
just
flopping onto the
flopping on the
ground and
floor. Yeah.
crawling on it
Just
while some epic music is playing. It's like, da, 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 da. I will make it to the show.
I see.
That's
Well, actually, I was
that's my
thinking more
morning.
of you
Yeah.
flopping out of the bed and landing on the previous night's vomit on the floor and just with a splat. Was kind of what I was.
Yeah. Oh, that's just gross.
It is
That's
gross,
that's
but I
yeah.
know
That's
that has
icky.
happened at least once in history. I'm sure, probably twice. But
Quite a
nevertheless,
few times.
Booster, happy to have you here, man. Let's see who else we got with us. We got Todd. How you doing, Todd?
I'm doing really good, and you?
I am awesome, dude. I'm awake and I have a very long day ahead of me, as usual. Nothing else?
No, I'm doing really good. Just happy to be here, and let's hope the news is good news.
You don't
It's
sound that
funny.
happy.
No, you don't. You don't.
Sorry.
He's awake though.
Be happier.
Be happier, yeah. But we do have some interesting news today. Actually, I think you guys will enjoy it. But of course, we cannot have a show without the Denali Lama himself. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing fantastic. It's raining. We have another storm coming in. It's exciting. It's going to be an interesting week. And Chester's inadvertently giving another experience of his past waking up drunk and
Uh,
vomiting.
now,
Yeah.
I shall not say there was some memory of
Uh,
Chester waking up with two women he had never seen before in his life and finding vomit
mhm.
on the floor. No, that certainly didn't happen. Never, never.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
was a
yeah.
waterbed too. Oof, that was
Oof.
rough. It was pretty
Oh,
Yes.
rough.
that's
Oof, oof,
Yeah,
gross.
it
oof,
was pretty
oof,
rough.
oof.
Oh, waterbeds are one of those things that need to stay in the past, you know?
Well,
Yes. Yes.
no, waterbeds are cool. They are
Oh,
cool, but
No,
they have their bad points too. It's true, but
no.
I don't mind
It's
the
not
waterbed.
cool.
I
I
had
It's
wouldn't
not
me.
cool.
recommend it.
I had a king size waterbed, dude. It was a nice
Oh
one.
my god.
Yeah,
Man.
the
Let's get a
ladies,
swimming
Water.
pool.
it's get the motion in the ocean. The ladies like it.
Oh,
Nah.
oh my
Waterbed
god.
is like for people who can't swim. It's like here's your flow device all over the water.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you
No
never
deal.
tried it, don't knock it. But I don't know. You shouldn't say that. You can say that about way too many things. But Pixel says you could say Chester is woke. Oh God, these grandpa humor coming out of these young people. It's just I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
Drum roll, please.
that's as happy as everybody gets. Very nice bullet. Anyway, guys, we do have some interesting news today, but we don't have a lot of direct comic book news today. I mean, comic books. But I'm kind of curious. Let's go down the row before we jump in the news. Todd, what is the last thing you read?
Hmm. Um. Good question. I did start to read that J.J. Abrams Spider-Man, and just kind of gave up on it. The last thing I read. That's a really good question. Let me get back to you. Go around, and I'll figure it out. I
All
did read
right.
something not too long ago.
Okay. Booster, what's the last thing you read, dude?
Last thing I read, I've been reading The Authority.
Ooh, I love The Authority, dude. That is a really good
Mm-hmm.
series, man.
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
wild.
Now that's one of my favorite DC things, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I like that a lot. Yeah. How about you, Dinale? What you reading, man?
Last thing I read was actually um, Miss Fury.
Miss Fury. I don't know this one.
Yeah,
What's this?
yeah. This is a old series from the early 1930s. Dynamite currently has it under Black Fury,
Oh,
um, and it's about a female socialite in a black leather panther outfit, kicking weirdos' butt,
all right.
which is kind of funny. But
Interesting.
I've been reading the old Alex Raymond Kip Kirby's strips as well.
Oh, well, nice. So you're getting into the classic stuff.
Hmm.
Pixel says House of X. March Hare says Postal Volume 3. That's interesting. I've heard about that. I read some of the House of X, but I just couldn't, I didn't like it from the beginning at all, dude. I don't like the idea of it, but some people are enjoying it, so that's cool. Actually, it's kind of interesting. I actually had a little bit of, because my answer would have been T-Bird and Throttle, because I read it all the way through. I read everything all the way through getting ready for my review of it. But I actually was having to run around and do my job, and I was sitting in a Board of Education waiting room, or
Hmm.
where they put the kids, and of course, as it is, and I
Oh,
just I
makes
had to
sense.
wait. Yeah, well, that was kind of the joke. But and I
Mhm.
just started trying to catch up on my Black Sunday murders, because I haven't read everything yet, and actually was able to catch up quite well, waiting for them. So, Black Sunday murders are my last thing I read this week. How about you, Todd?
Uh, Curse of Curse of White Knight.
Curse of the White Knight. So this is kind of Batman thing.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah. That's the
the sequel to the White
mm,
Knight.
yeah. It's Sean Connery Murphy's follow up. That's gonna be cool.
No, no, I should check that out, because White
Mm,
Knight was pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm. Awesome. We're getting some interesting comments in here. Swamp Thing, Nestor Renato, very nice, Tolfer. Eric Hawkins says, geez, I have no idea what the last thing I read was. Maybe the most recent issue of Doomsday Clock. Well, dude, we are comic book people here. Get on
Mm-hmm.
board, Eric. It says, Challenges of the Unknown. Dude, I like Challengers of the Unknown, dude. Dave, Unexpected, number 139 from 1972. How to Get Rid of a Corpse. Interesting. March
Wow.
here, yeah. March here says Billy
Why
Tucci
you
is
why are you
supposed to.
researching that, Dave?
uh, I don't know any unexpected. Most of these in here I do know though, but I don't know that one. March here says Billy Tucci is supposed to be doing some art for that Miss Fury series. Well, that would be awesome. Tokyo
Cool.
Ghost. Oh, dude, Tokyo Ghost is a great read, Zach.
Mm.
It's I don't know.
I'm
It's R
reading it as
rated, I
well.
guess. Is the
Yeah.
only thing I'd say. But it's pretty good read though. Who was it
I
that
think
turned
the
us on to
the
that?
art is crazy, but
uh,
was
it
it
would be
Brad?
it would be no. It would be a gentleman. Um, who would her first name would be Todd and his last name would be Maruni.
Oh, it was.
Oh, this Todd.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good
Um,
read, dude.
yeah. And it was one of the recommendations to do during Bugs Bear's basement
Hmm.
when we were doing
Mm.
some comic reviews. You know, some good stories.
Yeah, no, and we
nice.
did. Yeah.
Mm.
Go ahead, Todd.
No, I was just, I'm glad that I these are, I try to turn people on to obviously good books or things that I gave a shot to, because it takes a lot for me to actually get something, first buy it, purchase it, and read it. And so, because I'm always looking for something that's just a little different, or a little groundbreaking, or written well. It doesn't, necessarily have to be the best art, but that's my sort of mantra, is just seek it out and find it. And I let a lot of word of mouth and sort of the people that I talk to on a normal basis sort of lead me, right? So they lead me to those things. Oh, you got to do this. You got to check out this. And so when I do check it out and it's really, really good, or I'm like, wow, this is awesome, that's when I tell you guys. So I'm just doing what has been done for me,
Hmm.
because people know that I'm not going to just read the average everyday fare. And and it usually takes something a little extra to get me jazzed about it, you know. And if I do get jazzed about it, then it's obviously really really good.
I see.
Because I that's sort of again my mantra is just, man, this can't be missed. It has to be seen, or I have to let somebody know. It's the same thing I do with all this artwork and all these creators and the books that we, you know, the guys I line up for interviews and stuff. It's the same kind of thing. There's something about them or something about their work that I go, this just can't be missed because this is, you know,
Mhm.
I don't like to see good things go to waste or get not get enough eyes on it. Or, you know, you'd hate to see something as good as Black Monday Murders get canceled because it doesn't quite have the sales. So
Yeah, it's
you
true.
try to help it along, you know what I mean? And it might be a small little grassroots thing, but sometimes you get enough people doing it, and then now maybe through talking about it, we've got 4 or 5 people in the audience that have read it and go, well, these guys are right, this is actually really really good.
It is.
and
Yeah.
and that's what grassroots is just to sort of pass along the word and get the info out there and let people know that, hey, maybe this is, it doesn't have the big machine behind it that's propping it up with all kinds of ads and other things. So if we get that word out, we're the machine, you know.
Yeah. Well, in particular with Black Sunday Murders, that's probably the best book I've read in the decade. I mean, it's really really well done. The art is amazing as well. On top of it, the art is actually could sell it all on its own. To be honest, it's some of the most. It's just ridiculously dynamic. It's amazing. But the story is really in depth and really well done as well. So if you guys haven't checked out Black Sunday Murder, I definitely suggest it. Now, not everything that Todd suggests is great. I mean, he he suggested French books to me. Anyway,
Oh, dude, you can't go around doing that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
French books?
Freaking French
Ugh.
books. Yeah, yeah. You did it.
What's he talking about? Long John
He-
Silver?
Yes.
yeah.
Long John Silver is freaking good.
No, no French stuff. They can keep their damn baguettes and they can stuff
Mm.
their cheese up. Well, anyway.
Who's
But
talking
But
about that?
I want their croissants though.
No, no, I guess not. We'll keep
I'll
the
Is this,
croissants. The memory
is
of
this
I'll
somebody
war.
in
take
the chat?
I'll take the croissants.
Yeah.
Is this
you got
somebody in the chat saying I turned him on to some French book?
No, that's me. I'm just
Oh,
picking on the French again. You know how I am.
Yeah,
oh, but
But
yeah.
you're not saying you gave Long John Silver a try and then gave up on it, are you?
no, I haven't tried it yet. I am going to read it eventually because it looks stunning. But no, did you guys know a little bit of anthropological jump in here that the croissant was created after the French defeated the Muslims and they created a pastry in the shape of a crescent moon to celebrate their victory. Did you know that? That's where the croissant comes from.
Oh,
Because it means
oh, okay.
crescent. It means crescent, right?
That
Yay!
makes
It's
sense.
a war bread. Sweet.
Nice.
What is wrong with French comics? They are amazing. I'm just picking. French fries are not French at all, Eric. But no, I mean, especially what we should be doing, in all honesty, is paying very close attention to what the French are doing because they are having an absolute golden age of comic books going over there, as well as Japan. And we should be paying attention to what these people are doing because our comic books are literally on their knees, right? And I mean, comic books were created in America, right? It's the inception is from there. Well, I guess you could go back to the Penny Dreadfuls of Britain is really where it comes from. But anyway, comic books are from America, but yet our comics are really, really suffering.
well, well, it's still from America because the Penalty Dreadful were actually from the Tall Tales of Our Cowboys.
Well, we did have those things, but the original Penny Dreadfuls were from London, actually. But
Yeah,
anyway, it doesn't
but it
matter.
was influenced by us. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's yeah, you are right. That is true.
Mhm.
Those little novels that came out about all the stuff going on in the West. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, the French. You should be paying attention to French comic books. I mean, it wasn't too long ago that they had the reworking of the Elric series, and
Hmm.
that is just insane. If you haven't checked that out, please go do that. Black Sand, Cyber Six, great European books. Yeah, yeah. French eyes aren't French. Anyone could be French, bigot. Uh, Thanks, Cult Film Video. No, French fries were created in New York City, and they were called French fries to make them sound fancy because at the time everything French was cool in America, and it was before all the stupidity of the French during the 20th century, and they basically put the word French on it to try to get people's attention and sell it. But it's one of the many, many, many street foods that came out of New York City to feed the masses on their 30-minute lunch breaks. Yep. Pizza, ice cream, all those kind of things. Or the modern ice cream cone, I should say. That's
It's
actually pretty interesting too. The ice cream cone came out of that because they were selling ice cream in little glasses, but they would get broken. It was a bunch of mess to have to wash it. And some New York guy created the cone to basically solve
Hey,
his issue.
do we have news?
We do. I'm talking
The
yeah,
history.
chat's
Shut
going.
up.
yeah,
Where's the news?
Shut up.
yeah,
French toast is not totally disgusting. I love French news. What
Dude,
is
I
the
make a
news?
good
All
mean
right,
toast. What are you
fine.
going on
yeah.
about?
Fine. You guys, every time I try to mention anything to enlighten and enrich your brains, no, you can keep French to it. I don't need that. Thank you very much. All right, here we go. I'm doing it.
Yes, do it. And that was the just the last thing for the waffle. It was actually one of the world fairs in New York that
Yeah,
the ice cream cone was made because he ran out of those little glasses and there
yeah.
was a waffle maker making the things and they rolled it up and that's how it was came to be. But moving on from comics book news, Marvel cancels Ant-Man 3 because of diversity, and it's going to Disney Plus because they feel like since they're getting the X-Men and Fantastic Four, you don't need Ant-Man anymore,
Now, hold on a
which is
second.
weird.
Hold on a
Which is
second.
weird. Yeah.
It is weird, but hold on, people over here complaining at me, and I understand the fair thing, but go do your history, guys. But anyway, why diversity? Where is diversity coming into this? Is this because we could say it's a good thing, right? Ant-Man is fun.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed Ant-Man. The second one should have been just called The Wasp, but whatever. But
Right.
becoming a series could be a fun thing, right? So why are we? Where's the diversity thing popping in this story exactly?
This I've read this same article a couple different places, written by a couple different, and it didn't mention diversity whatsoever.
Yeah, because I
So
don't
I'm
see
not
it at
sure.
all. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So it's just
So,
more nonsense, just more lies,
Oh yeah.
clickbait.
well,
Just
Yeah,
a night.
rumors. Yeah.
yeah.
But I
Uh,
But
mean, the idea is that it's a more family friendly movie,
yeah,
and they it doesn't really fit into their phase 4 where they're gonna have some darker characters come out on board. For instance, like Blade and Shang-Chi and stuff like that. Those are going to be much little darker movies, so
yeah.
they think this might do better on Disney Plus,
Hmm.
and
So
because
do
it
I.
just the third movie just doesn't have anything that fits in with the whole Phase 4 thing.
Well, I mean, I personally think it's awesome because one, we get to explore the relationship between the two of them more, and obviously the relationship's going to become a thing. I mean, I understand the complaints about him, particularly in Endgame. The rat theory and the Thanos rat theory, as well as the fact that in Ant-Man 2, and of course Endgame as well, is particularly they do cuck him out in horrible ways. But you can actually probably have a really fun series that's funny, and you have little time moments with Michael Douglas in there. I mean, he's an old guy; he's not getting a lot of work anyway. And this guy here, Rudd, I think his name is, and that lady. I think it would be awesome, dude. I'd look forward to it personally. What about you, Booster?
Huh? Oh, Ant-Man. I liked the first movie. I still haven't seen the second one. I don't care enough.
Really? Because Ant-Man is one of the first Ant-Man is one of my favorite MCU films, dude.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, I liked the first one quite a
Oh,
bit.
yeah, I see. The
I
second one,
just,
I am. Yeah.
I just,
Um,
I just don't care enough to continue the series.
I see. Well, unfortunately, like I said, the second one should have just been called The Wasp. And I don't know why they
Yeah,
didn't have the
yeah.
balls just to do it. Just make The Wasp. I mean, what's the problem? You didn't even need Ant-Man hardly in there at all. He wasn't really in there a
Mm.
lot. He was pretty much just he was second wheel for sure. But it was just, just do it. I mean, pull the trigger. I mean, she's a cool character. I mean, I've always liked the Wasp. Now, she's not very Wasp-like in her attitude, unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, depending whether you like the Wasp or not. But
Mm. Mm.
I thought it was all right. Eric said I'd watch it. Yeah, I think it'd be fun. I don't know what this diversity crap is though, but
Yeah, was there
just
not
Outrage.
diversity in this? It's odd.
Yeah.
well, he does need to go save them, right? He needs to
Yeah.
because they're lost, right? He got out, but they didn't. So he
Oh,
yeah,
Eric Hawkins says, "Oh, it says it's not diverse enough compared to the newer
I see.
films."
Oh no, no, they didn't get caught in there. They got snapped. That's right. So they're probably back. But man, that snap, even though Infinity War was amazing, it causes so much trouble, dude. I mean, the new
Mm.
Spider-Man doesn't even recognize it, doesn't even acknowledge it, really. It doesn't make any sense. All these kids should have been out of school, right? And how is it that perfectly all of them were snapped? So that they're exact same age. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's that 5 year spread is really going to screw them over hardcore, and they should have solved it differently. They should have done something with Doctor Strange, which you suggested, and did nothing with it. Right? You have Doctor Strange sitting there saying he has a plan, and he says it's the end game now, and then you do nothing with it, right? They should have done something with Doctor Strange where the final defeat of Thanos happened at the exact moment that Thor struck him in the chest, or instead he strikes him in the head and kills him, or something like that. And you had no 5 year period because that 5 year period is going to come back hardcore on them. Don't you think so, Todd?
Well, yeah, it could. It certainly could, or it could just, the less you address it, the better off you are.
Yeah, no,
That's why we don't follow with time travel crap.
yeah, they just got to ignore it. You're right. But it's
Right.
it's dumb, dude. It was not a smart move. I really, really wish that the writers had been more consistent from what they have created in Infinity War. But it is what it is. But I don't have no problem
It's
with this. I think it's fine. I'm looking forward to it. Now,
yeah.
moving on here, we have several stories in a row that are dealing with a new streaming service because all need a new streaming service. Let's see who'll be the first one to have 20 of them. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Denali.
So NBC has announced, and was announced more yesterday, but it was announced that they're launching Peacock.
Hmm.
Let me repeat that. NBC is releasing their own streaming platform called the Peacock,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and it will be released April of 2020. And for those who have their cable are cable subscribers, they will also get the content for free. Thank you, NBC, for not charging us more to watch your
Mm.
shows. Um, and it's going to have over 15,000 hours of content that
I'll
are
eat that up in a
forgettable.
week.
Yeah. But
Uh,
of course,
How many
this is
hours
coming
a
on the
week?
heels of just, and we said this before, as did many other people. Uh, no one's going to get half a dozen or more streaming services. No one wants it. You're all coming out. You're dead on arrival. Is what this is. I mean, you got Netflix, you got Amazon Prime, you got Disney Plus, and there's so many others, and this is not even in the top of consideration. Most people will forget this a minute after it's said. Who the hell wants to give any money to NBC? Did they forget their how they make money? Did they forget their system that they have? But yeah, this is so dumb, dude. Don't care. Waste of time. Peacock my ass.
yeah,
But
so so part of this, they're launching a remake of Saved by the Bell.
mhm,
And also, either, if I understood it correctly, if I read the article correctly, either they're rebooting another Battlestar Galactica, or they're continuing off from the last Battlestar Galactica.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and they're also
so
doing things like of the Office and Parks and Rec and all those other great things they
mhm.
have to offer, which people can find already, but for free. And speaking of Battlestar Galactica, it's a nice picture they chose there. It's interesting choice.
Oh yeah.
Picture.
Yeah. Yes,
Nice.
yes. And we got Comic Book Bob on. Hello, sir.
Yeah, as soon as I saw the Battlestar Galactica thing, I had to come in and weigh in on that.
All right. Well, let
Sweet.
me read the headline and then I'll throw it over to you. So this is from Bounding into Comics. A Battlestar Galactica reboot coming from Mr. Robot creator will debut on NBC Universal streaming platform Peacock, as mentioned. So, sir, go ahead,
Bob.
sir, Bob.
Yeah, I have very little hope for this. Very little, because like that picture you're showing right there,
Mhm.
it is not going to look like that.
Mm.
No,
It's
of
not
course,
going to look like
not.
the track record for mainstream for all the mainstream television stations and whatnot. Forget it. You're not going to see that.
Well, and no, it won't be seen because no one cares, right? This whole
Yeah.
streaming thing and all these companies trying to get on. I mean, we told CBS they were dumb for doing it, as well as DC, streaming. It was like, why? If you're going to try it, come out with Warner Brothers, and of course, that's what they're doing now, right? This is people aren't interested. It's going to frustrate them, as if there isn't enough frustration in the world already. And I think these companies are misreading people quite a bit, because there's a lot of frustration right now going on, particularly with the Democratic Party imploding, and just the absolute insanity that's coming out. This constant SJW stuff in your face all the time. The average person who is busy running their life now has to start paying attention and has to get involved to deal with this crap. People are on edge, right? And you coming out with this kind of thing, it's just going to frustrate people more. And particularly if you look at NBC and MSNBC and how absolutely ridiculously woke they are, they've been losing viewers left and right, dude. Not only the fact that they're dinosaur media. Now, I do think it's cool that they're trying to harder to get into the online presence, but this is not how you do it. You do your format. You put commercials up there in front, just like you always have, and offer your content online and try to become an complete online service. But nope, got to get in line, make that cash, got to get that $6 a month. But in particular with Battlestar Galactica, I'm going to say something quite controversial. I did not like the reboot at all. The 1979 19 was it 1981, or was it 80 81? But the two seasons we had
Hmm.
from the original series, I loved it. The new one, I didn't like it at all. I didn't like the human Cylons. I didn't like the concept. I didn't like all the angsty drama all the time. I hated that shit, man. I hated it. It was not
No,
cool. It
I
was
get it.
not fun, dude.
No, I get it. I liked it, but then again, I'm a big Edward James Olmos fan, so.
Nah, me too. I like him
But
as well.
yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I get the people who are the old school fans who like, this is the real Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
I get that.
It was
And I was
just
a fan of that too. So,
yeah.
but the thing that gets me is this series just ended in 2010. It hasn't even been 10 years.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I'm sorry. I have to go way over to the other side because I need to do something here. I am giving you an F there, Dave. I agree 100%. F for Lauren Green. Put him in. Lauren Green's awesome. I do like
Yeah.
James Olmos, though, whatever his name is. He is a cool actor. But yeah, I just really didn't like Battlestar Galactica. I mean, I thought the updated graphics were cool. There was some certainly good acting in it. But and I have nothing against that Starbuck girl. I think she did a great job, but she's not Starbuck. Is
No.
dumb. It was stupid SJW nonsense, right? And it was
Yeah.
just left and right, left and right. When Boomer's a girl too. I mean, come on. Whatever.
Yeah, yeah, it was no, like I got, like I said, like the first I actually it took I think 2 seasons for me to actually get into it though. So, I mean, I get it.
Yeah. No, I watched the whole thing because my wife liked it.
Mhm.
Now, you know what I did like, and it didn't go anywhere, was what was that called? Battlestar Galactica Chrome and Blood, or Blood and Chrome.
Yeah.
There was like a
It was
two-part
about the
series or something like that.
Yeah, it was about the original war when Adama was just a pilot.
Yeah. And that was awesome, dude. That's something, and it's
Yeah,
new. It's new, right? But that didn't go
yeah.
anywhere. It died on arrival. I was like, what the hell? This is much better than Battlestar Galactica,
the
because this is something new. It's telling us how we got there, you know?
the problem was the ending, because Blood and Chrome came when that stupid ending came out, and everybody was like, "No, I'm not gonna watch this crap
Well,
Well,
anymore."
what really happened was they already had another series on the slate. They were doing Caprica, which
oh yeah,
was
Yeah,
which was the other part that nobody cared about, which is like, we don't care about the humans leading up to the Cylon War. We want the Cylon War.
right. Yeah, Caprica was dumb. I didn't like that either. But it was just complete mishandling of it because I get it. The ending of the reboot and the ending of the original are basically the same. It was insinuated that we modern humans are coming from them. They're basically kind of in a way telling the flood story. Right, is what they were doing. They're
Yeah,
telling the old Sumerian stories, is what they're doing, and it makes sense perfectly in time because you got to keep in mind that in the mid '70s is when the Sitchin books came out, and it was really popular. People, oh, this is cool, and they were talking about it a lot. And you had some writers see that, and like, hey, I'm going to twist this in a sci-fi way because that's what Sitchin was doing. So it's directly connected to Zechariah Sitchin, and that's where the idea, the inception, came from. And so it makes sense. And so the ending they had in the new one is no different than they did in the first one. It's the same idea, but the problem was they made it too modern America. That's not what it is. This is ancient time. And yeah, I mean, sure, they're humans, and that's where the humans are coming from. They're saying we came from somewhere else, or maybe they're the gods or whatever. But they shouldn't have been human. And the original Battlestar Galactica did a much better job of showing us this different world than they
hmm
did in the Battlestar Galactica. I mean, they literally had people walking around in freaking business suits, dude. I mean,
yeah.
someone needs to
That
be
was one of the things.
slapped.
That was like one of the things that I thought was interesting when you compare the two of them. Is in the original, there's a lot of Egyptian symbology and stuff, like the helmets that they wear.
Oh yeah.
The fighter pilots, they look like Egyptian headdresses.
That's right. Yeah. No,
So
and
it's
yeah,
like, and none of that was in the original series, and I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of the old school fans got turned off. Is like, this looks nothing like just the initial reaction. This looks nothing like the original.
yeah, no, true. And of course, the AIs really aren't AI at all. They're just humans, right? So that's another
Yeah,
direction. Yeah, they shouldn't have gone. Everyone, we didn't want that. We wanted Cylons, right? That's what we wanted. But no, we got this whole stupid, insurgents and these undercover robots in human bodies and yada yada yada. And of course, in the ending of it, it's also insinuating that basically modern humanity is half robot now, right?
yeah.
So it's like, whatever, dumb. And Topher says that Caprica had a lot of cool ideas. I agree with that. But yeah, I agree with that. And Eric Hawkins, next time anyone sees him, please slap him twice. Double slap coming for Eric.
It's coming for you.
That was
The Buck Rogers reboot.
Dude, they will bastardize that. Buck Rogers will become Bucky or Buckus or Buckyrina or Buckayana, and it'll be some chick running around, or they'll sideline him, and that lady will be the main thing, and that stupid robot that's hanging around the
no, no,
robot's
no,
neck
no,
will
no,
be a female. You
no,
know it.
no, 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 no. It'll be even worse. It'll have Bucky, but he'll die, and then the female character will name the ship after
Something
Bucky.
like that. Yeah,
That,
the ship will be
yeah,
Buck Rogers. Yeah, and
yeah.
and the bird guy will be a transgender. You know what's happening, dude? Aaron Gray. Yeah, she was a
Mhm.
hottie. I do agree, Topher. Topher showing his age over here, baby. All right, all right. Welcome,
I
welcome
think we all
aboard.
are.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Buck Rogers is great, man. I love Buck Rogers. What a great theme song. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. It's happening. It's happening.
Uh,
Oh boy.
What are you finding? What are you doing?
I'm doing something proper.
Oh,
Yeah,
hey, just the Busby is live. You should check out that
Yeah.
stream.
yeah.
should share it. Yeah, should share it out.
Yeah, I think I did. Let's see. Theme, the song.
Songu.
Songu. Okay, here we go. You
Remember,
guys ready? You
you can
ready?
only play a few
Ready?
seconds.
Huh?
Yeah.
All right, come on, come on, come
Sure
on.
isn't too
Give it
loud.
to me. Give it to me. Oh no, this is the original one.
Yeah.
The year is
Let's pause it.
1987. And
All right, fine. I paused it. It breaks the mood, Dinale.
NASA launches
Yeah.
rockets
You're
to
gonna bring
America's
this
deep space
out of
probes.
Yeah.
In a freak
Yeah.
mishap, Ranger
Don't
3
blame
and its
Bruce
pilot,
Willis.
Captain
Did
William
nothing
Buck
wrong there.
Rogers,
William
are blown
Buck
out of their
Rogers.
trajectory into an orbit which freezes his life
I
support
love the intro.
systems
Dun, dun, dun,
and
dun,
returns
dun,
Buck
dun, dun,
Rogers to
dun,
Earth
dun, 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 dun. That was cool.
500 years later.
I like how they're trying to make it look like he's falling, but it's clearly lying there.
Yeah, well, dude, you got to respect when it came out. It's building up. It's building up. Here it comes. Here we go. Oh yeah. There he is. Our boy, Gil Gujarati. I always miss him up with Lee Majors, dude.
Yep.
Oh, there she is. There she is. Oh my. Hello. Yes. Yes, Miss Gray. This guy was cool too. He's in a bunch of stuff. What a character actor in so many things. I do miss him up with Lee Majors though a lot. I do that. I apologize.
Yeah.
The Space Vampire episode. Yeah. You know, it's kind of interesting with Buck Rogers. The way it started out, it was almost Flash Gordon-esque. With the Emperor and stuff like that, and then they kind of got away from that, and did something different. But I love Buck Rogers, man, and I like the old books too. Buck Rogers is cool,
Best episode was the one with all the little midgets, and they all had they're all admirals.
yeah.
And then they did the thing where they made Aaron Gray's blouse buttons pop off of it.
Yes, it was a time when TV appreciated breasts. I do agree.
Yeah.
And Topher says, my 10-year-old brain loved this. So did mine, dude. Yeah, no, Buck Rogers is good fun. And of course, I would love to see them bring Buck Rogers back, actually. I think it would be great. It's perfect timing. We could do something that's much more sci-fi than the original was.
Yeah.
But they'll screw it up, dude. They will screw it up.
Oh, yeah. Of course they will.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it'll be Wilma Buck. Yeah, Wilhelmina Buck Rogers, like Bullet just said.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. Yeah.
It'll be just like Star Trek Discovery with Michael Burnham.
So stupid, dude.
Yeah.
But if you read the original Buck Rogers stuff as well, it came out at a very similar time to the John Connor of Mars, and they have a lot of similarity between them actually. They were obviously competing against each other. I don't know if you read them, you'll see what I mean. The TV show doesn't play out as the original stories did. It's too bad I can't say that I want it because I really want it.
I think we want it as fans, but then as reality sets in, we go, that's not what we wanted.
Dude, Topher says Buck Rogers watch party. I'd love to do that, man. That would be a lot of fun. But the problem is Rabbit is dead. Has anyone found a Rabbit solution?
Rabbit.
A Rabbit replacement? Anybody?
Not that I'm aware of now.
I'll get on to it, Chester. Stop bullying me, man.
God, man, you solve it. Because I would love to do a Buck Rogers watch party. Dude, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I actually met Gil Gerard about 15 years ago. That dude, something about him that people don't realize. That dude is big. That guy is tall, man. He's like 6'7", 6'8". He's big. His hands were gigantic.
Well, that's why he was working in Hollywood. Preston Poulter says Gil Gerard owns a copy of White Lily. Dude, that is awesome, man. Congratulations,
Wow.
Preston. Eric says Eric Rogers and Linda Carter gave me my first movement in my nether regions. Was so confused, like Booster is. Okay, and then he deletes it as soon as I read it. Eric says I finally watched John Carter. I liked it. I would have liked to have seen it more. You do, I don't. John Carter, the movie John Carter, it did very poorly. People had some negative things to say about it, but I mean, it has its problems, I suppose, but it's not that bad a flick. I mean,
No,
it was
I
pretty
mean
It was
fun.
bad pacing.
Yeah, and
the
it did
books
have
are
pacing issues. Yeah,
I mean, not to be one of those people. The books are obviously much better, but
well, they are.
the film, I think it just fell prey to the time.
Yeah, mismarketing and such, but it's too bad. I thought they had something there, and as many ideas, it got absolutely squashed on moment. Because these days, one thing we've certainly noticed is they have no patience. See, they used to have patience
No,
back in the day. They would give it 3 seasons. Then okay, let it go. We made a decision. We put our money in place, and it's a lot of money to start out a show, right? It's a lot cheaper to keep it running than it is to start them up. But they used to give him a 3 seasons, but now, nope, they'll cut him halfway through the season, dude.
yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, I mean, then thank God they used to do that because we never would have got all the Star Trek shows we did. Because the first couple of seasons of Next Generation were not great.
No, they weren't. That's true.
All right,
Dave says
let's
I
move on.
should play the Silver Spoons intro now. I shan't
Oh
do that.
God.
I shan't. Although he
Oh,
did grow up and was on Smallville, and I liked him in that. He was pretty cool.
What's our other news? What else have we got? I
All
saw
right,
something about Grant
fine.
Morrison over
God,
there.
the old people
Yeah.
talking,
Hey,
right,
what's going
Booster? How
on?
dare they? God.
Oh wait,
Oh,
was that Boondocks?
who
No, I
was on
got that
Small?
coming up soon. Here, go ahead, Dinale.
Ooh.
Right. So launching on the Peacock as well is Grant Morrison Brave New World. And I'm afraid of what this guy's going to bring in this climate.
It could be cool though. It could be.
It could be
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
You know,
Uh,
give it
Oh
the benefit
no.
of the doubt because it's Grant Morrison and he's a good storyteller above his politics.
mhm.
But again, it's TV show, so mm, we saw
I
Happy
mean,
2. We saw Happy 2. That's all I'm going to say about that.
That's true. They did ruin that. Brave New World is kind of interesting. If you take 1984 and you mix it with the movie Equilibrium, that's what Brave New World is, right? And that
mhm.
could be cool, right? Because I don't know if you guys have seen Equilibrium, but in my opinion, it's my favorite Christian Bale flick, dude.
Yeah,
Equilibrium is amazing.
It's pretty
I think the
underrated.
reason, yeah, the reason why I think Equilibrium didn't get as much love as it probably deserves is it came out at the same time as The Matrix, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, they're just trying to copy The Matrix," and it's like, well, you got to look deeper than that.
Yeah, no,
Hmm.
and in some ways, much preferred Christian Bale's character to Keanu Reeves' character. Oh, sacrilege! But you know, but Of course, the cast of Matrix was all around great, whereas Equilibrium was all about Christian Bale. From beginning to end. Yeah,
Well, it had
Gun Kata. Yeah, yeah, right, Bullet.
yeah, it had Sean Bean, it had Sean Bean in it for about 10 seconds before he died, like usual.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah, no, but my point is, Grant Morrison's doing the Brave New World. It could be cool. It could be cool.
Mhm.
But
It'll be
I,
interesting to see which of his stuff that they try to adapt. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like The Invisibles was a really big book for its time, but I don't think it's aged very well.
no, maybe not. I did read that though, and but Brave New World, the book itself, it came out a long time ago, dude. I mean, that's a really
Hmm.
old book. Let me see if they mention this in the article here. Oh, there you go, 1932. Boom.
Yeah,
Uh,
but
but
he is. I mean, he is the current editor in chief of Heavy Metal. So if they let him do what he wants, it's possible this could end up being pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Grant Morrison is an absolute progressive. I mean, he is, but he also
Mhm.
is a great writer and he respects the art, right? And therefore he tells great stories. I mean, he's a dyed-in-the-wool liberal, but he's a professional and he's a creator.
Mhm.
So you can enjoy Grant Morrison for what it is, right? And of
You
course,
know, an
this is
example of that
yeah,
is in Animal Man, right? Where he changed Buddy into a vegetarian just because he is. But he also wrote the fact that Buddy's sudden change of vegetarianism and trying to enforce that onto his family was a big deal and absolutely insufferable behavior because he understands that.
he does. He does. That's
Yeah,
what I
He's
mean.
not pretending like his family's gonna immediately be like, "Oh, we respect your decision, buddy."
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
It's one of those things where he's primarily a storyteller first.
that's right. And
And
of
that's why
course,
I love old Grant Morrison.
the old liberals, the old lefty, type artistic type people, they're cerebral, right? They like to look at everything from every angle. They're thoughtful in their ideas. Whether you agree with them or not, you can sit down and have a conversation with them about it. What has happened these days with these identity politics, these progressives, they're just insane. You can't talk to them. They're just they're zealots, is what they are. They're zealots,
It's
and
authoritarianism. So
it's become that for sure. And of course, look what they're doing to each other. I know this is off topic, but AOC is actually going and supporting a different, more progressive Democratic candidate versus the established Democrat candidate in the area. So she's they're the four, as they calling them, maybe they had another name, the squad. Sorry, they're actually working against an established, already elected Democrat. No one, you never do that. You never do that, but yet they're doing it, right?
yeah, yeah,
So, which is good because it's basically the Democratic Party is imploding and it's going to melt down into two or three different parties. And of course, that means that the conservatives have an opportunity to make a good run. And we need the conservatives to make a good run because we need to fix some things, right? Because
We
when
need
it
the
comes right,
yeah,
conservatives to grow some balls.
well, we do, but when the country is hurting, you need Republicans. When everything is rich and everything is doing well, which I know it is, but in every way, you can let the Democrats have a run at it for a while, and they'll screw it up eventually, and Republicans need to come back in. But we need a good long run of Republicans. I mean, real Republicans, none of this rhino crap like George W. Bush, right? We need actual conservatives in there being conservative. And it's interesting because Donald Trump, we all know, is not a Republican at all. He's a moderate Democrat, is what he is. But yet he is
yeah,
being very successful in doing the conservative thing. It's very interesting. Donald Trump is a fascinating case study, actually. But let me come
yeah.
over here and because the chat has opinions. Um, March Harris says, "Love Equilibrium, Matrix not so much. I like the first Matrix, and we enjoy the other ones. They're good popcorn films." Star
Yeah.
Storyteller says, "No, it's not like Equilibrium because people indulge in emotions, so they want to engage in sex." Well, you're right on that point. Factors consider rude if you tell someone no if you don't want to have sex and they promote promiscuity. Yeah, I get that one aspect because they're trying to take away. I was just trying to give people a general feel. If you take 1984 and you mix it with Equilibrium, you kind of get the Brave New World idea. Is all I was trying to do. Sounds like some HBO business might happen. I'm sure it will. March Hare says, Morrison is going to try to make it woke. Yeah, but it'll be good woke though, because he's a professional. That's the point we're trying to make. Fahrenheit 451. They always want to go on about that movie. Ash on comics. Leftism has always been emotional, not cerebral. Well, not really. If you look at there is a lot of emotion to it. I agree. But the old liberal artist group, they're very much are always want to have a debate and talk about the ideas. Whether you can change your mind or not is a different point. But my point was you
because
can talk to them.
because
You
they
can have a
study
conversation.
right because they study civics, unlike the current generation that study sociology, social
Mhm.
studies.
And a
So,
lot of them
Yeah.
studied the old Greek philosophers and stuff as well, because
mhm.
they're very haughty, right? They consider themselves to be intellectuals, and which
Yeah.
is freaking insufferable. But yet you can talk to them, right? Which you can't do because they're brain dead, uneducated, completely ignorant sheep today that simply are just these out of their mind, crazy brainwashed zealots, dude. It just is what it is, and it's not good. Rome is burning in a way. In a way. Dave says, "Yep, he's a blue dog Democrat. Yeah, he is, dude. But yet I enjoy his work, right? As many
Hmm.
of them we've talked about it before. Alan Moore. I mean, can you get more leftist than him? But yet he's an intellectual, right? Garth Ennis is another one. Trump was good on letter. Yeah, well, Trump is a lot funnier people give him credit for, actually. March here says, "Gotta go. Have a good one, everyone." Thanks, March. Let's see. Bullet says, "Free speech used to be a leftist point of view, and it's not now." Well, another thing that used to be a very leftist Democratic view is the supporting the worker. Now, look what's happened now.
Yeah.
Now they support the rich
Anti-war,
elite.
all that stuff.
Yeah, but they're all about the elite now. It's a literal role reversal. You know.
Oh yeah, what happened, and it happened because they realized that they couldn't win elections without doing it.
That's right. No, it's true. And the funny thing is, you could say, well, the Republicans are doing that now. They've had a role reversal too. Rah, 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 rah. It's not true. The Republicans have always been talking about the worker the whole time. What do you want about? Pay attention. Read something. Ignorant
Model
bastards.
Josh from 316 is saying, "I'm waiting for the comic news."
Fine, you bastards. All right, here we go.
Yes, move on. So yeah, so from Deadline, the Boondocks is getting a reboot and gets a 2-season order by HBO Max.
Ooh.
So it's coming with the same creator who created the Boondocks, Aaron McGruber, and
My boy Magruder's back.
right, and it's coming with the original cast of the original Boondocks. They're just redoing the whole thing.
Okay, I have no clue what Boondocks is. I've never seen it or even heard about it. Help me out, Booster.
You need to educate yourself, man. Boondocks is awesome.
Is it like
the
Peaky
Boondocks is a
Blinders?
show
Because I
that
like
was on.
Peaky Blinders.
No, it's nothing like Peaky Blinders. It's an animated show that was on Adult Swim, but it actually had decent animation rather than most shows on Adult Swim, right? And it's based on a newsletter by Aaron McGruder, which is a show that very much celebrates and satires a lot of black culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have at the centerpiece Huey Freeman, who is a somewhat intellectual little black man, right? Who is with his little brother Riley there, who is a stereotype of all things black culture, right? He's a kid. He wants to be gangster. He wants to be a rapper and all that, insufferable behavior, right? And then, of course, their grandpa, who is a retired, old, lazy, perverted old man. Yeah?
I see,
Yeah.
but
And
why do they call it
and they live
Boondocks? That
they live in
brings.
a primarily white neighborhood. Yeah.
Well, see, the problem
Yeah,
is
well,
the name Boondocks brings visions into my head of Peaky Blinders type of thing. It doesn't bring into some black
Well, I don't
hoodie
know why
thing.
it's called that. I wouldn't.
the
know.
reason why it's called Boondocks is that they originally lived in like the hood. They lived in okay, that's where they came from. But their grandfather moved them into this posh neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you know what Boondocks means?
Yeah, that's like
don't
like
be bloody pedantic, Chester. It's a great
like
show.
the water.
All right, whatever, fine. Cool. I'll check it out.
It's
Absolutely.
a hilarious show, and they say the N word like 20 times an episode.
Why would I care about that?
Because I don't know. I get really bad after I watch it. I think I can say it, and then I get myself in trouble.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
I think the reason why they called it the Boondocks is that they're completely out of their element. They're like out in a place where they don't really fit in or understand. And I guess that's supposed to be an allegory to the fact that Boondocks is supposed to be Boondocks is supposed to be like you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, that's the idea. Yeah, so I would expect it to be, it would make more sense to me with black people if it was like after the Civil War and you had a black family trying to have their own farm and back growing cotton and stuff like that, and conflicted by the although being free, they're now still doing exactly what they were doing. So that would make more sense to me.
There are so many
funny enough, what you said, Chester, is basically it's what you just said, except modernized, where they're in a white neighborhood, and
I see.
And it's funny. It's that just juxtaposition.
And
yeah,
I'm just very happy to see Aaron McGruder back on the wheel, because for the first 3 seasons he did practically everything right and direct every episode until it got taken away from his hands with season 4, which is just a really forgettable season. I'm telling you, man, you can find clips of this show that are unbelievably quotable. I've watched every episode so many times. Yeah, Uncle Ruckus is hilarious. You can find a good compilation of Uncle Ruckus. You can find a clip of the Booty Warrior on YouTube, or
what about the two brothers? The one that the one with it was they were both white, but they were both voiced by black guys. One of them was voiced by
Charlie
Samuel
Murphy
Jackson.
and Sam L. Jackson. They are hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like I check it out. I love the art. I think the art's badass.
And also, you got Tom Dubois, who's probably my favorite character. He's a black lawyer, and he's probably the whitest character on the show because he's just like such a lame, pathetic guy. And there's this moment where he gets overtaken by this dark entity. and he just goes wild on people. It is so funny.
He gets possessed by Stinkmeyer.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
Is
Return
it
to
The guy that
Stinkmeyer. Those are the best
Yep.
episodes.
Yeah.
is it
That's that. Go ahead.
no, just is it the type of thing where black people are basically knocking on white people while trying to hide it as knocking on themselves?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's if we need more of
No,
that. That's lame, guys.
No, you gotta watch it, dude.
It's-
It's funny.
You gotta watch it. Yeah.
All
It's
right, fine.
genuinely
It's-
funny.
It's basically pointing out the absurdity of all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Well,
I would say
like
no one's
irony.
really a specific target, and no one's a Yeah, it was open end, baby. They even make fun of black entertainment TV a lot, like saying that it's just a channel to make black people dumber.
And maybe Bullet makes it easier for me to understand. He said it's Black South Park, man. All right, cool. I get that. I
There
see.
you
I
go.
understand that. All right.
No,
Eric
just one last thing on it. I'll put it this way: they actually do an episode where they kind of do like these alternate reality things,
Mhm.
and Martin Luther King actually didn't die; he was just in a coma, and he
Okay.
wakes up and he looks at the like the culture day and he goes, "Screw all of you! I'm moving to Canada."
I see. Yeah, well, it's interesting they're taking that light on it because there are some black folk these days who are celebrities who are trying to shine a light on the problems in the black community, and they take a lot of flack for it. But they need to. They really, really need to, because one of the things that's absolutely destroyed the black community is the friggin' welfare state. And if they have a show that's trying to mock and make light, bring that to light, cool. But at the same time, it's probably a show that mainly white people watch and black people don't watch it at all.
Oh no, oh no, no. The exact opposite of that.
All right. Excuse me. Anyway, cool. I'll check it out though.
All right.
This next story just warms my heart. Warms my heart, I say, Denali.
From the Hollywood Reporter, the Kevin Spacey accuser dies in the midst of sexual assault lawsuit. So basically, all the sexual assault lawsuits that were levied against him has been dropped.
Oh, no.
I guess he's innocent. Wow.
That is awesome, dude.
Right, yeah. So right now they're just the inheritors of this deceased person are trying to continue the lawsuit, but I don't see how that's going to continue when the person died.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. Is it wrong that doesn't bother me? It might be.
I don't know, man. I at this point, it's like,
I mean, we've seen strange things in this past year.
Are we just gonna forget about Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe, right? But see, the thing is, the idea of Kevin Spacey having someone knocked off so he can end a case, it's just perfect, dude. It couldn't be better.
It's a house of cards in real life.
Yeah,
Right.
I was just gonna say it's like Frank come to life.
Yeah. Now I'm just gonna wait for his comeback. But no, of course I'm kidding. It's very sad, horrible situation. Even though Kevin Spacey is probably he's the top 3 best actors living right now for sure.
I mean,
Anthony
he's best
Hopkins.
friends with the Clintons.
What do you say?
I said he's best friends with the Clintons, so yeah, I don't know. Just saying.
Well, I'm not going to get into that. And of course, it's it's a pretty horrible thing. I mean, he was basically hitting on, I guess, or having sex with a 14-year-old or something like that, a boy. So it's a
the
problem.
guy who plays the guy who's one of the actors on Discovery. When he's I think he said he was 14 years old when he tried to have sex with him, but he got away from him.
Yeah, so he tried to. Therefore, it's an attempted, hey, would you like to have sex? So it's an attempted pedophilia. But nevertheless, the one thing I did like about the case, because it is an absolute nest. But one of the things I did like about the case, it's very rare that anyone cares about young men being abused. It's very rare.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a woman, they go off on it. They're on it all the time. Immediately, like I said on one of the other shows, 95% of all rape accusations are proven false. 95 freaking percent, right? But they'll jump on top of that, but they don't care about the young men. And another interesting statistic, when we talk about sexual abuse, most people think, oh, it's like it's all men, it's 90% men. It's not true. It's actually like 52, 53% man, 47% woman. And the interesting difference in the demographic of the statistic is the fact that the actual sexual abuse or rape or whatever you want to call whatever they're calling it these days is actually with men. It's with people over the age of 18. With women, it's under.
Yep.
Yeah.
But just to add to the conspiracy of this, he did put out this weird video about 3 or 4 months ago where he was actually in character as Frank, and he was like, "You thought I was over. You thought I was done.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, I'm on my way back." It's
great.
not to add fuel to that fire, but I'm just like, hey, man, he is friends with the Clintons. So
He is, and they kill people. There you go. I said it. Come at me. Spacey is an awful actor. Oh, come
A
on,
mysterious earthquake strikes a small Japanese fishing town at 3 a.m. in the morning, Japanese current time.
Yeah. Star Storytellers, like I call BS. Kevin called it a favor. Yep.
Yeah, maybe. Spacey top 3. Heck, he even said he might have done it, but didn't remember doing it. There you go. He's so what it means is he's drunk half the time. Sweet. Bullet says top 3 after Rock and Channing Tatum. Okay, Bullet. All right, you live in that fantasy over there.
Someone time Bullet out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who would you guys call your top 3 actors right now?
The top 3 alive?
Yeah, living. Yeah.
I would put God. Wow, that's a good question. I think you got to put Denzel Washington in there. I think he's a great actor.
He is.
Anthony Hopkins,
obviously. Yeah. Yep.
And man, I don't know, man. Ian McKellen has done some really great parts.
Yeah, but I wouldn't put him in the top 3. For me, Anthony Hopkins, Kevin Spacey. I can't really think of a third one. Ted Danson, my God.
Clint Eastwood.
What did you say there, Todd?
Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, he is still alive. Yeah, you're right. And that dude.
Yeah, but he doesn't really do a whole lot of acting anymore. No, he's mostly just the director.
Yeah, but he's still alive, I guess, is what he's playing on. But
that's true.
Patrick Stewart, yeah, he's really good too. But Clint Eastwood could walk into a damn film, not say a word through the whole film, several times in a row, and absolutely just to wipe the floor with everybody. Talk about a guy who doesn't need to speak to make a presence. I mean, Clint Eastwood, geez. I do agree with Patrick Stewart, though. Even though he's frustrating the hell out of me, he is right now. He is awesome. And Evan says, "Rest in peace, Chester. We hardly knew you."
Ooh! I just thought De Niro.
Yeah.
No, fuck De Niro. Sorry.
What about Dustin?
Beep.
Yeah, time you out. I kick you out.
Time Chester out. Kick him from the stream.
Do apologize, but
I got my other top 3. Michael Caine.
I like Michael Caine. Yeah, he's funny. But De Niro, I mean, he only does De Niro. That's all he can do, dude. He can't do anything else.
Well, that's all he does today.
That's all he's ever done, dude.
Stuff. Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
What about Dustin Hoffman? Dustin Hoffman's pretty good.
Yeah, he is pretty good. Gary Oldman, I agree with that a lot, Ash. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Gary Oldman.
You notice no one is mentioning...
What do you think about...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm just saying no one is mentioning the dude who did My Left Foot and the other guy who did There Will Be Blood.
Oh, Daniel Day-Lewis?
Yeah, no one's mentioning him, right? It's interesting.
Because Sean Connery. Retired. He's currently retired.
You're not talking about that bloody sweet scene where he's going, and this is my straw. Take it all the way from your milkshake.
Yes, yes,
That
thank you,
scene.
Booster. That was very helpful.
That
Um,
was ridiculous.
It was. Eric mentioned Sean Connery. I love Sean Connery, but once again, it's the Robert De Niro effect, dude. He only does Sean Connery, right? Who I
Okay.
love. I
How
like De
about
Niro too, but that's all they can do. They're not very in depth, you know. Harold Ramis,
what about
interesting. Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray.
G-
hmm
Gene Hackman?
Gene Hackman, yeah. Oh, Gene Hackman is a great
See,
actor.
Mm.
Donald
now
He's
it's
charming
Sutherland.
as hell.
Robert Duvall?
Wow. Oh, damn. You're right, Eric. Tom Hanks. Now that's a guy
Yeah,
who
Tom
can do a
Hanks.
lot of different stuff. Yeah, he is really good.
Well, characters, yeah.
Toffer's got a good point. Donald Sutherland's still alive.
Yep. No,
Yeah.
and Donald's really good. Oh, Keanu.
Kirk
What?
Douglas.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee. Once again, he's the same thing as De Niro. He only does one character.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does it well though.
Jerry Busey.
Jerry Busey.
Oh, now we're just being abused.
Ouch, ouch,
Okay.
ouch.
Hey, we got a conversation going though. That's a good thing. But anyway,
Jackie,
you
Jackie
know,
Chan. There you go.
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan's charming, but I wouldn't accuse him of being a good actor.
No.
Yeah.
And you know, congratulations, Kevin. Congratulations. Moving on.
You guys are bringing up movie stars. Yes, that's true. Not good acting. Oh, from Polygon, Spider-Man #1 is J.J. Abrams' comic book in every twist-filled ways.
Blah.
Meaning, well, I don't know what.
Talk about someone who shouldn't be in comics.
Well, and remember, this is a book he's writing with his son Henry as well. So,
Yeah.
Daddy, I want to be writing a Spider-Man. No, son, you can't have a Spider. Daddy, I want to be writing a Spider-Man. Oh, Spider-Man. Oh no, I'm getting Bendis flashbacks looking at the paneling.
Yeah.
Oy.
yeah.
The art
Oh, the
isn't
it's bad.
great. It isn't great. Yeah. I don't know. It's a style, I guess. Some people might like it. But why is Keanu Reeves in a car with this
That's
person?
Spider-Man.
And
No,
why
it's
is he
not.
No, it
missing a
isn't.
hand?
Stop saying
I
that.
don't understand. I don't understand.
Because he lost a hand during a fight.
No,
I mean, the
Peter
art
Parker
looks
lost
nice,
a
I guess,
leg,
but-
not an arm, not a hand. What the hell? Don't you people? These people don't read their damn comic books. John Cusack.
No.
Ooh, very good point, dude.
Yeah. So
The-
there
No,
you go.
it's I read it. It's not great. It's literally typical Abrams. He's pulling things from other stuff.
Yeah, Todd, you
But
read
re-
it as well, right?
read this paragraph, Chester.
and I just
Yeah.
couldn't keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Right. Read this paragraph. The Abram Ways turns his version of Peter Parker, an older, bearded, obsessed with his job, into a shade similar to Luke, Jake Skywalker in the new Star Wars trilogy. Like old Jake is a former hero who turned his back on the call to action and his obvious successor's emerging power.
Mhm.
Spider-Man #1 Peter also abandons his crime-fighting days long ago. In the present, is unable to heal from MJ's death or the Cadaverous
What is this?
attack.
An Elseworld comic? What
Can-
is this?
Cadaverous is a character that he created specifically for this book, and it's awful.
But it's a
Yeah.
what if or something, I guess.
It's kind of taken. They're kind of taking some of the version of Mayday Parker from the future
Yeah.
that was
Right.
out about 15 years ago. They're taking some of the elements of that story and they're bastardizing it and turning it into literally like it's like Force Awakens. It's angry old Peter Parker instead of angry old Luke Skywalker.
Jake Skywalker.
Yeah,
But-
really original, JJ. Good job.
Well, hold on. You say that like, granted this isn't that great, or I really just couldn't even bother finishing it. But
Your argument there.
But one thing that boggles the mind is, as a comic book reader, you have to realize that if you want mature ideas and books to go forward, what they can't be doing is bogging them down with continuity. So, for instance, say, okay, this Spider-Man's going to take a left, written by this writer, and this Spider-Man's going to take a right, written by this guy. You have to allow it to happen, because if you really want groundbreaking stuff, you have to let the writers experiment
Uh-huh.
and do things, try things
Right.
the company won't really allow. But when back in the day when they would, that's when you would get these things. But if you're going to go and be the kind of fanboy that goes, wait a minute, what you killed off so and so and this and that? No, this is a left, and we're going here on this timeline.
Mhm.
Just play along with us, and this is a right. And if people would stop complaining, then maybe experimentation would come back. But
Yeah,
they
it's a good point.
But
it's
here,
just
Denali, I'll
but
be
here's the
back in a
problem.
minute, dude.
Right. And here's the problem. Here's the problem. I'm not arguing about creativities and all that stuff. A lot of books are else worlds or else wins or else ifs, and there's been a lot of experimentation. The problem with this book is a J.J. Abrams typical trope books. It's an episode from Alias, and right here, this writer Matt Patches even says this is a similar to The Force Awakens, meaning it's almost beat what The Force Awakens is going to be in terms of plotting and everything. Meaning he's not being original. He's just introducing the same elements he's been using over and over again and repackaging it. That's not experimentation.
no,
That's
no.
just good
I'm not
writing.
saying this particular book lends anything to that. I'm just saying more of this would happen if we just gave it a chance and we'll pick. Obviously the good stuff will rise to the cream rises to the crop or to the top, and
But
people will
that's
talk about it and go, hey, you know what you got to check out, so and so's run on such and such, because wow, they did something that was really cool.
right.
But
But
you
the
won't, you won't
problem,
get that, you won't get it.
well,
It's just too many people
well,
just bash it before it even came out you know
well, because they're disillusioned with a lot of things that's been happening for the last 2 decades, basically. Last
Yeah.
3 decades, if you
L-
want to be fair
Let me put.
about it. And go ahead,
I was
Bob.
going to say that actually, this is something I was actually thinking about the other day. Um, the last month, I've gotten 2 books that literally made me feel like I did when I was first started back in the '90s when I was first really started collecting heavy, and those books were Spawn 300 by Todd McFarlane and Battle Made of Knuckle Bomb that I did an unboxing for from Kyung Lee, and it struck me, and it's like I said, like I literally was excited opening these things up and reading them and looking at them. And it kind of like I was wondering, like, what is the difference between this stuff and like the stuff in the past and the things today? And I think it literally comes down to this: comic book creators who are making comic books specifically to be comic books for comic book fans. And then as long as like you have like somebody who cares, because so many of the writers and creators today, comics are not where they want to be. They're using it as a stepping stone. All right. We see this constantly. And they're not putting their best work into these things either, because they're hoping that they're going to come up with the next Walking Dead that they can turn into a television series, and then they can just, they can go into the field that they really want to go into. But looking at these books, every one of these books, every time I picked up a book from the '90s, and when I picked up these books, I was excited because I felt like it was an event, and it was because it was being created with the intention of literally being a comic book for comic book fans. And when you do that, you could pour all your creativity in that, and you can experiment. That's when you can try experimentation and everything, because even if it fails, the people who are reading it know you're trying to create the best comic book you possibly can. That's not what they're doing today. That's not what J.J. Abrams is doing here. And I think that's the difference between those old books, like the way we felt about those old books in the past, and then these special event books like this, and these crowdfunded books that we go after and we get. They feel like literally when I was looking through Battle Made Knuckle Bomb, I could tell that was a book created by a comic book fan, specifically for comic book fans, to be in the form that it was created in. And I think that's a major thing that's missing from today.
And that's
Interesting.
why that's one reason why the audience have left
Yeah.
and dwindled down to where it is right now.
Well, at
Because
least it's a
audience,
what if though. I mean, at least it's
yeah,
that, right?
it's a what if, but trust me, this is just a prelude to allow Sony and future movies this option, like we talked about. This is just a gateway to allow these ideas to say, oh, it was in the comic book, it was done, so here
Yeah,
you go,
we talk
kind of
about
deal.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've seen just two little comments here. One, you see the picture I'm sitting on right now with Spider-Man. How many times are they going to do this same half-face cutout from his costume being torn? And this is one of the worst ones I've seen done of it, by the way. This is not a great piece of art. But how often are we going to get this? I mean, how many times do you have to show this to me, really?
All
And
right.
Not only that,
secondly,
but
why the
look
hell
at
is
his face
Polygon on my
underneath it.
damn show?
The other thing too, look at that picture, man. Look how dour he is.
Yeah, it's
It's like, come on, man.
it's not a
It's
great piece of art,
Spider-Man.
but at least it is
No.
Spider-Man in a costume instead of this stupid Iron Man armor thing that the MCU is pushing. I mean, talk about completely not understanding Spider-Man, dude.
Well, they're no longer having Spider-Man, so that's going to be out
Yeah.
the window. As from Comics says, Jonathan Hickman is doing that very thing. He's making big ballsy changes to with both ideas on the House of N, Powers of
Mhm.
or House of X, excuse me, and Powers
Okay.
of X that
Yeah.
is, and Scott Schneider and Donny Cates are also doing very creative experimentation with great results.
Scott Snyder, Donny Cates a little bit maybe, but I would say the person doing the most of that today is probably what's his name? My brain's not working today. The guy who did Curse of the White, did Batman White Knight.
That
Murphy,
is
Sean Gordon
Sean.
Murphy.
Sean Gordon Murphy, yeah, the hottest ticket right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can, that's what I'm saying, that he's doing that series and you can tell he's experimenting with things, but he cares about what he's doing. He's a comic book guy making comic books for comic book fans. You know what I mean? That's an old school perception. And so many of the creators today, the vast majority of them, they just don't do that.
Yeah. Well, I haven't
Yeah.
read it. I'm going to read it because for me personally, because it's a what if type of thing, I have no problem with that. They can do whatever they want in that. But I want to read it and see if it's well written though, because it's supposed to be written by his boy, not him, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I can
supposed to
tell
be
you right
written.
now. I can tell you right now, he heavily leaned into this thing.
He did.
Mhm.
I see. I'll check it out. Is it well written at least?
It's very dialogue heavy.
And I'm assuming it ends horribly because JJ can't end anything.
It's a mystery
Yeah.
box.
It's a mystery box. There you go. That's all I need to
Yeah.
know. Next. Uh-oh.
All right. So this is
Uh-oh.
from Bounty into Comics again. Former Louisiana Attorney General Charles Folty launches an investigation into the accounting fraud allegation against Disney.
Uh-oh.
Basically, we talked about this before, where there was a whistleblower from one of Disney's former accountants saying that Disney was cooking the books for several years. So now there's an actual investigation being launched to look into the allegations about this.
Well, that's good. And I just love it. Former Louisiana Attorney General Charles Fawty. That is awesome, dude. That's like a comic book name. It's perfect.
Yeah. And another thing too is that there's actually a couple of, since this thing came out, there have been several other people that have come forward and corroborated this story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, does it surprise you? And these big businesses do this kind of stuff all the time. I mean, it's not,
No.
it doesn't shock me at all. Let me see here. Ash says Sean Murphy is the hottest thing in comics for sure. Yeah, well, he is. Turtle Rabbit says today every 6 issues is expected to be a trade paperback. Every storyline is done in hopes of being used in movies and cartoons. Nothing in the mainstream is being produced for the love of the medium. That's true, dude. It's very, very true.
Yeah.
Like we
But that's
mentioned,
part of that's part of how they process you. You know what I mean? They want you to sign up for 6 issues or 12 issues so that they can get a trade out of it.
Yeah.
That nobody, I mean, you know what the last long run was, and your guys are gonna probably, ballyhoo me again, but Mark Waid's run on Daredevil with Chris Samnee was a very long run that got a lot of critical acclaim.
No way, dude. Mark Waid's Daredevil sucked bad, dude.
I'm saying it got a lot of. I didn't even read it, but it got
Yeah,
a
for
lot.
some reason it got acclaim. That was not a good Daredevil run at all.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
they do
And-
that. They lie, Todd.
Mm.
You see.
And I have a lot of trouble believing have a lot of trouble believing someone can mess up Daredevil. He's one of my favorite characters, and almost everything I've read of him is
that
just
was
fantastic.
it was a stupid,
But
pathetic
Here's the other
SJW,
bit.
effeminate Daredevil, dude. It was
I
ridiculous.
think it's
dude.
ground zero of all the crap going
Yeah,
on.
I agree. Yeah.
The other thing
Yeah.
that got a lot of acclaim outside of comics and inside of the industry was the Vision series there, where he's like, having a family and he has a
Yeah, see,
home.
that was much better though. That
That
was
was
much
actually
better.
pretty good. And
Yeah.
that was Tom King as well.
Yeah.
Doing something pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, King. Here's the thing about King that I've said if he has a strong editor to keep him in line and keep him in check, he can produce good stuff.
He's a good writer. Yeah, for sure. But that Daredevil run was horrible, dude. But I get the point you're trying to make though.
And Tom King wrote a pretty good Omega Man as well. That was a pretty cool read.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, the last long run that I can actually remember was Bendis's run on Ultimate Spider-Man. So
Oof.
that was that was a 7-year run. So I'm just saying, whether you liked it or not, it was a long time.
Even Bendis couldn't screw up Daredevil. Daredevil's that easy to write. But Mark Waid's
I don't know,
screwed it
dude.
up.
I don't know. Have you seen what Bendis has been doing lately?
No, we have, dude. We have. But then, of course,
Yeah,
the
I can't
Ultimate
stand
Spider-Man
Bendis
wasn't
crap, but-
Spider-Man at all. It's a diversity Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's Marvel Spider-Man. It's a Marvel Disney Spider-Man actually. So.
Well, I guess. I guess that's true. Well, no, is that true though?
Yeah,
Sony doesn't own the rights to the Ultimate series.
No,
No.
No, they do. I'm just saying that the version that that we have in the movies, that's the Ultimate Spider-Man.
Well, when they built that up and then they killed Peter in that, spoilers, I stopped reading after that, dude. So I just didn't want it. Wasn't interested in it. Just like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Thought it was really well done. I like many parts of it. I love Spider-Man New York. Nicolas Cage. It was awesome. But it was just I don't need it. I don't need diversity Spider-Man. Whether it doesn't matter to me whether Miles Morales is a cool character or not. I don't care. It's not what I need. They should have made him something very different. They should have made it an homage to the character, not the character himself. It's just like Lady Thor, you know. Because the only time I've seen them do that well, and you guys are going to hate this, the only time I've seen them do that well recently was actually with the initial run of Miss Marvel. Because Miss Marvel was well written before they lost their damn mind, and the idea that she was a fan and she took the name to respect it, it worked in that case. Whereas in the other ones I mentioned, I can't stand it. What? Peter died? No. Sorry, dude. Moving on to the last story. We do no. That is the last story.
Yeah.
So awesome. Let me come back over the side because we need to get out of the way for Blacklist Universe, of course. Oh, okay. Don't do that. All right. So interesting conversation today. We actually talked about comics quite a bit today, which is nice. And
well, we got around to it eventually.
Well, no, because we were talking about John Carter, Buck Rogers, all that stuff is old comic stuff, dude.
Right.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh yeah, thank you, Comic Book Bob. Yeah.
God bless you, Comic Book Bob.
Right. Anyway, guys, and there was one thing that Todd didn't delve into it. He just kind of touched on it. But when Todd was talking about the fact that they don't want to have any kind of creator in there for any kind of long run, they're keeping everything very short so they can control these guys and not have any superstars. Is something that we talked about on the Pontificators last week with Art Tiber. And a very interesting insight from Art. He's of course been in the industry forever. He's done everything. We know who he is. But he was making some very interesting points about that, Todd. Don't you think?
Yeah, and it was something. He kind of let us on the inside a little bit, and it was something I had heard, but not so easily explained like that. As far as creators becoming fan favorites. You know what I mean? I had a feeling that there was guys that they moved around and that those guys didn't really like it, and they were doing filling issues and stuff like that. But I never really thought it was because they didn't want them to become fan favorites
Right.
because their artwork was a certain, had a certain appreciation among fans. So they would sort of keep them from getting on A tier books and sort of move them around more than they should have. And that to me is a little bit weird, That's like ass backwards a little bit.
It's very much
Well,
so. But that
but
is an
it
interesting show, though, guys. That we're doing it again this week on Fridays, 9 p.m., right? Eastern Standard Time. Definitely come check out. That's on Arch channel. It's not here. But go over there. You
mm,
should be supporting RTBR anyway. Go ahead, Denelli.
Yeah.
I was going to say no. It makes sense because this is when they did that. That was a reaction to the mass exodus that happened in the early '90s with Todd
Image.
McFarlane and Image
Hmm.
Comics. Basically, they didn't want that to happen to them again, and to keep that from happening, that's why they did the rotations that they're doing. That what they didn't realize, like those million cuts that they're doing to themselves, they actually hurt the books because no one storyline was any good. It didn't have any solid continuing thread, and which led up to the kind of comic bubble burst that happened in 97, 98,
Yeah.
along with the poor decisions that we talked about in multiple things. But the more we talk about this and the more we talk to RT Bears with these guys on Friday, and other legends, we start getting a clear autopsy report of what happened to the
Yeah.
comic book industry
It's true.
and why it's failing,
Yeah.
and what decisions, now in hindsight and looking back, is what's calling how we can move forward as a independent comic community,
Yeah.
because we're no longer localized to just these two publishers. Everyone who starts developing their own comic and selling it, they are their own publishers.
Mhm.
And we're we were talking about it earlier in the show, where we have to look at France. France is doing the same thing. We're just now starting to come to that realizations
Yeah.
with this, and hopefully more creators and more um, new project comes in, whether it's in Kickstarter, Indiegogo, whether it's some other platform that's yet to be found or discovered, or if there's a new platform just comics only or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, you know, it's a I look forward finding those new creators and talking about these new projects. It's a new excitement that's kind of been energizing this community
It's true.
that hasn't
Yeah.
been that hasn't been there for a long time, and I'm
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
happy to
That's
see
what
that.
I. Yeah, that's what I was talking about when I said when I was unboxed that Battleman Knuckle Bomb. I was like, this reminded me of back those days.
Yeah.
Like I was legitimately excited about that.
Mhm. And Eric says Mike dropped the bomb on why he doesn't like Jim Lee, and I was floored. I didn't hear that. I'll have to check into that. But we do need to wrap this up because Mike does have a show coming up in 30 minutes. The Pro Edition Drawn Recorder, of course. Do and once again, if one of my moderators would please throw up. Art Tiber's YouTube page, YouTube channel, please, because you guys should be over there supporting him anyway. But on Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I can't do it all the time, but I have a little bit of a break here, but I will be on as much as I can. But trust that I will dissect that brain as much as I possibly can, guys, because there's a
Oh
lot of
man,
information in there. And
dude,
definitely,
I love talking to Art. I love
yeah.
talking to the guy. He just knows so much.
He does. He does. But
Right.
also keep in mind that coming up tomorrow, of course, we have comics news today at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But at 10 p.m., of course, we are doing the fan edition. Now, it's supposed to be Wisdom Comes
Wisdom.
with Cody
Mhm.
Martinez, but we're not. It's not 100% confirmed yet, which is a bit weird. But next week, though, we are going to have a great show because it's the 1 year anniversary of Drone and Quartered next week on the 26th, and that is going to be Big Trouble in Little China, baby. That's going to be so cool, dude. I'm looking
Woo!
forward to that. But there's a good schedule. Pixel does a good job of keeping a schedule way ahead of time. We're over a month ahead of time right now. But definitely come check that out. Go check out Mike's Blacklist Universe, of course, so where he does, they're having the artists go at it. And go support the new girl, Siege. She came on the show last week, and great artist, man. Surprised me. Really good artist there, that girl, and go support her as well. But the only other thing we need to make a decision really super quick, or at least start the conversation. What are we doing on TFT this week, man?
Mysterious murders.
Mysterious murders. All right, Kevin Spacey heading out the headlines. All right, sweet.
Yep.
Mysterious murders. Maybe we'll talk about it. But
I
nevertheless,
mean,
guys,
Marilyn Monroe. You know.
Elvis Presley, he's still
Yeah.
alive. Someone saw him at a Chick-fil-A the other day.
George Reeves.
Huh. Hmm.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
I created this little thumbnail for just posting, for when it's on and stuff to
The
get that out.
pontificators, yeah, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think it you need to liven that up a little bit, though.
And Bullet
No,
says, "Do you need
you
people
just want
for any of it?"
information. The other stuff is just dressing. You don't make it too busy.
How come? How come? You get the thinker. Art gets some scoring 12-year-old. Zach gets some kind of intellectual interviewer, and I get a group. What am I? What am I? Schizophrenic?
Yeah.
I wanted to give you a little bit of a family element
I
because it
am
was,
me.
I don't know, it was it's what's called a vector, and
Yeah.
I added the thinker in there.
You should put me. You put me as Spartacus. I should be Spartacus.
Lose 50 experience.
Yes, definitely lose 50
Oh.
experience. But anyway, Hogan's Heroes, dude. Yeah, I love Hogan's Heroes. But anyway, guys, we definitely get to get out of here. We appreciate you very much for coming in. That's always awesome. And Denali, take us out of here, dude.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for Comics News today. Join us tomorrow for our show, and then Saturday is our fan speak at 8 p.m. Eastern, which is always a lot of fun. Join the Immortal Mask at denalescomics@gmail.com newsletter. Just send an email saying, "I want to be on the newsletter," and you'll be on the newsletter. But as always, your perception shapes your reality, so always make it a good one.
Namaste.
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 Later, guys.
Aloha.